Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for April 14th, 2025, the final edition of Raw before WrestleMania 41. This week's Raw was in Sacramento, California. I remember when The Rock had his concert and he ripped into Sacramento. No Rock on this show, but we did have appearances from the WrestleMania main eventers and some of the other competitors in WrestleMania. So let's get to it. We opened up the show with a very angry World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Gunther came to the ring. Michael Cole was in the ring, but really did not do much as far as the interview goes. Gunther talked about how Jey Uso is full of crap when Jey says he's not afraid of Gunther. Gunther said, screw Jey, screw everyone that stands with Jey. Gunther said he is the greatest gift to the company. He's been champion for 80% of his time in WWE, and he says when the bell rings, Jey cannot lace his boots, and he vowed to put Jey down for the fourth consecutive time. I thought this was a good promo. Jey was not there in this segment. It was just Gunther in the ring. They did the close-up of Gunther's face. He was very serious. I think the key here is how he really made a big deal out of the fact that he has beaten Jey on 3 occasions, and he vowed to win a 4th time. I think it cements my prediction that Jey Uso will, in fact, become the new World Heavyweight Champion. I am projecting a Jey Uso world title win at WrestleMania. We had several video packages throughout the show. Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky didn't really give away anything as far as who might win over the weekend. Bianca's video had her talking about how she's gone through everything, blood, sweat, and tears to make it to the top in WWE. No whining, no excuses. She said that she has never been pinned at WrestleMania and said that the triple threat doesn't matter. Nothing will stop her from becoming champion. The interesting line to me was how she brought up how she has never been pinned at WrestleMania. She does have that streak if you're not counting the Battle Royal loss on the, I think it was WrestleMania 33 kickoff or something like that, 33, 34, one of those years. We had our first match of the evening, Liv versus Bayley. Of course, we have the tag match at WrestleMania. This was a filler match. Bayley was chasing Liv around. Liv took advantage of this. Bayley fought back. Then they were on the outside of the ring. Bayley went for a knee strike but missed and hit the steel steps. Liv suplexed Bayley off the steps onto the floor. It was back and forth after the commercial break. Bayley hit the Bayley to belly. Raquel then put Liv's foot on the rope. Lyra Valkyria, who was out there, she attacked Raquel and then prevented Liv from hitting Oblivion, and Bayley was able to pick up the win to gain some momentum for WrestleMania. I personally think these types of matches are boring. These momentum matches. I know some people appreciate the good wrestling, as do I, but when I feel like it's just filler to get to WrestleMania, I mentally check out, and that's how I felt here. Champs are clearly retaining. My prediction remains unchanged. I am projecting the tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel, will retain at WrestleMania. We had a recap of what happened with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, how Rollins could have taken out Paul Heyman with the stomp, but did not do it. We had Rey Mysterio versus Julius Creed. Good match, but another filler match. We know Rey Mysterio is not losing before WrestleMania, especially against Julius Creed of the Creed brothers. You had interference from Brutus Creed and Chad Gable. Then the LWO got involved, and the referee just kicked everybody out. So it was down to one-on-one. Rey Mysterio started to build up momentum. Then El Grande Americano showed up. Rey tried to rip off his mask, and then Creed attempted to win with a roll-up, but was unsuccessful. Rey then regrouped, picked up the win with the 619 and the splash. And then after the match, El Grande Americano attacked Rey. LWO tried to make the save, but Grande once again had the foreign object in his mask, and he laid out the entire LWO and stood tall. He came off the top with the headbutt, with the loaded headbutt on Rey Mysterio. El Grande Americano stood tall to end the segment. I figured this was probably going to happen. I am changing my WrestleMania prediction. I went with El Grande Americano. I am officially changing my prediction to Rey Mysterio to pick up the win at WrestleMania against El Grande Americano. They made him look very strong. Thus, I'm thinking Rey Mysterio picks up the win. Maybe we get the unmasking and the angle, which I would be a little disappointed in if they end it this quickly. I really wanted to see El Grande Americano versus El Generico, but I don't think it's going to happen. Triple H doesn't listen to the internet. He doesn't care about the internet. We all talked about it on the No DQ review, but I don't think it's going to happen. We had a War Raiders video package. They said it's going to be War at WrestleMania. New Day was interviewed backstage, and they said fans will have to drop to their knees and scream, "Thank God for the New Day," and that was that. I'm a little surprised that they're not doing any kind of a stipulation for this tag match after it ended in a DQ the other week. We had AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross, another filler match. We know Styles is not losing before the pay-per-view. Kross had his old music back, which bad week to do it. You might as well job him out one more week and then hit the reset button on him after WrestleMania. But anyways, Karrion Kross at one point pretended like he hurt his ankle, and that just pissed off AJ Styles because Styles got hurt and Kross was essentially making a mockery of him. Styles was pissed. He got fired up, and then he picked up the win with the phenomenal forearm. No shock here. Kross is dead in the water. I just hate to say it because I like the guy. I like Scarlett. I like the act. I like their old school music and entrance, but they didn't even get it on TV. It was during the commercial break. After the match was over, Logan Paul interrupted the celebration. He aired a video package of himself, and then Styles invited him into the ring. Karrion Kross attempted a sneak attack. Styles was able to fight off both of them for a little bit, but then Logan Paul hit him with the knockout shot and then took down Styles one more time with the pulverizer. And this is not once, but twice now that Logan Paul has gotten the better of AJ Styles before WrestleMania. One more time here on the go home. And because of that, once again, I am changing my pick for WrestleMania officially. On the prediction stream, I went with Logan Paul. I am officially changing to AJ Styles to pick up the win over Logan Paul. Maybe Logan's going to disappear again, and they decided to go with AJ as the winner. I mean, if AJ loses after being laid out twice, that really makes him look weak. Maybe he's winding down his career and wants to put over Paul. I don't know, but I'm flipping. I know it doesn't always apply, but traditionally, the guy who gets the upper hand on the go-home show tends to lose at WrestleMania. I'm going with that, just based off of history. I'm picking AJ Styles to win now. Did I have any more changes for WrestleMania? Stay tuned. We had Jey Uso come into the ring for a promo, and this was just to get Jey Uso on the show in front of the live crowd. It really served no purpose. He just said he's crashing out, but he's also locked in. And he said Gunther is afraid he's going to get his ass whooped. Jey did the yeet with everybody, did the encore. I mean, that's all this was. It was more time filler. We really did not need this promo whatsoever from Jey, but you got to get Jey on TV. It was what it was. It was very much filler. We had Braun Breaker attacked backstage by the Judgment Day as he was cutting a promo to hype up his Intercontinental title match. We had Finn Balor versus Penta. Back and forth match here. Penta was on the verge of winning, but then Balor countered the Penta driver. Penta, though, regained control, and that's when Judgment Day showed up. Carlito and Dominic Mysterio. They interfered, and then Balor went for his finisher, the coup de grace, but then Braun Breaker ran down. Carlito tried to escape. Braun Breaker ended up attacking Balor to cause a disqualification. And after the match was over, Braun Breaker speared both Dominic and Carlito. Carlito could not get away from it. And then you had Penta sending Braun out of the ring, and then Penta came off the top with a big dive onto everyone. Penta was the last man standing, which doesn't really mean anything because I think most of us did not pick Penta. I know I didn't. I did not pick Penta on our prediction stream, so no change. I really am torn between Dominic and Finn Balor. I think it's going to be one of those guys. I don't think Braun Breaker's keeping the title. I think he's losing it. He's not going to be in the fall, and then he's going to move on to bigger things. But yeah, I would say it's either Dominic Mysterio or Finn Balor. Now, Io's video to hype up the triple threat match, she did mention how she has beaten both Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair before. Makes me think she's losing here. I did go with Bianca to win, and I think I'm going to stick with that, but I could see Rhea Ripley winning this one. I'm torn on that. The only thing I got out of these three segments was that I don't see Io retaining the title. We had our final segment of the evening. We had CM Punk backstage chatting with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns arrived and he stormed to the ring. Paul Heyman followed him. They were both in the ring for the end, and Heyman had a microphone, but Reigns went and got his own microphone. And he wanted to know, why did Paul Heyman betray him? And the crowd was chanting, "You effed up" at Heyman. Heyman was getting booed. Heyman said it wasn't a betrayal. He said he was paying back a favor that he owed. And Reigns said that Heyman should have paid back the favor himself. Reigns said him getting screwed from the favor is not what the wise man should be doing. And Reigns said he never asked for Heyman's help. He never asked for CM Punk's help at War Games. He said it was a dumbass favor. And at this point, we had Seth freaking Rollins come into the ring, and Rollins said that this is the most important triple threat match ever because the winner will define the future of the industry, because it can't be filled with part-timers like Roman Reigns or guys that take their ball and go home like CM Punk. The business will die with these guys running the company in the future or being on top in the future. He said the business will thrive with guys like Seth Rollins winning at WrestleMania. He said Heyman is as dishonorable as they come. He expects nothing from Heyman after Rollins saved Heyman last week. He said that Heyman is in Punk's corner, not by chance, but by choice. And Reigns said that Rollins is right. He said Heyman made his choice. Reigns made his choice. And then he attacked Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman was very happy about this, but then Reigns shoved Heyman down. CM Punk ran out there and we had our brawl. Punk got the best of Reigns, but then checked on Heyman. Reigns took advantage, took him out with a spear. And then Seth Rollins took a steel chair and recreated the Shield chair shot, which I'll comment on that in just a second. The chair shot, the Shield chair shot to the back. And then Rollins took out both Punk and Reigns with the curb stomps. And that was the end of Monday Night Raw, with Seth Rollins coming out very strong. I picked Seth Rollins, and I am changing my pick again. But here's the kicker. I haven't decided on my pick if I'm going to go with CM Punk or Roman Reigns. I don't think it's going to be Seth Rollins now. I don't think they're going with the Heyman swerve. I will give my thoughts on the No DQ review. I'm going to finalize my pick on the No DQ review Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm changing my pick, but I haven't made a final decision on it just yet. Now, the chair shot, it was cool last year when Rollins did it. Now, I mean, yeah, we've already seen the callback. You're doing it again? I don't know. It just didn't have that same impact that it did when they recreated that moment at WrestleMania last year. I thought it was a little weak. I thought the ending segment was disappointing. And as a matter of fact, I thought the whole show was disappointing. This might be unpopular. I know people are high on WWE right now. Business is booming, but I think this was a weak go-home show for WrestleMania. Like, I could have skipped this Raw and had more excitement. I feel like my excitement actually went down a little bit with this Raw. Like, it was so uneventful, so filler. I would have felt better if last week was the go-home show and then we had WrestleMania. You know what I mean? This actually dragged it down a little bit. It was a big drop from last year. Last year, you had The Rock out there and, they were whipping Cody Rhodes at the end. Like, that was a hot angle to close out the show last year. That was a really good go-home show. This was not. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, maybe Paul walks out on everyone during the match. I mean, he might just throw his hands up and be like, I'm done. I did my little favor. I was in CM Punk's corner, but I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. And he's going to be nobody's best friend, nobody's wise man. He's going to walk out. I mean, that's very well what could happen here with Paul Heyman, where he just doesn't commit to either of them. Like, maybe they're going to do something where he's in the ring, Roman Reigns is down, CM Punk is down, he gets the chair, and then he just throws it down and leaves. And that's that. Brock Lesnar is not showing up, people. He's not going to be there. Until this lawsuit is settled, Brock Lesnar will not be there. Just throwing that out there. So I looked back. Last year, I gave the show a B+, and I've changed to a point system. I think because of my expectations, this was a go-home show. I expect a really strong show. I don't think it was necessarily a bad Raw, but it was pretty boring, and it should have been a lot better than it was. So because of that, I think this was my least favorite Raw since Netflix. And the lowest point I gave an episode of Raw was 5 points. And I believe it was February, looking at my points here, February 17th, I gave the show a 5. This was my least favorite show. I have to go with a 4. 4 out of 10, as Bret Hart might say, meh. Very disappointing show. I was expecting a lot better from this episode of Monday Night Raw. I think they phoned it in. If there was ever an example of a phoned in edition of Raw, this was it. Wasn't bad, but it should have been so much better. Like, I should be jumping out of my chair, hyped up for WrestleMania, and I'm not feeling it. I'm sure it'll be a great show. Well, can't say I'm sure of anything, but I think they'll deliver. WWE used to be great at hyping up the go-home shows. Like, if anything, WrestleMania would often be disappointing because the hype would be so strong and then they're not able to deliver. I'm hoping it's the opposite effect, where the hype is low, but they deliver big time for the actual show. And Mr. Tito's right, they're not going to risk injuries, but just the lack of any storyline development, even the promos, did not blow me away. Paul Heyman did not blow me away. Like, it was all right, not great. So anyways, I'll be back on. We continue the nightly streaming. We got the No DQ review Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and I will lock in my prediction for the main event. I'm not going with Seth Rollins now. Hamp Connell did not like the show, which is no surprise. He almost never likes the show. But I thought it could have been a lot better. Next week's the Raw after Mania, and I have to set my expectations low. I wanted them to return to glory and make the Raw after Mania something special again, but I am not getting my hopes up for next week. I feel like it's just going to be your random Raw, average standard Raw. Maybe we'll get a return. Maybe we'll get a call up, but I'm not expecting much. I'm really not. And I hope that they exceed my low expectations for next week. I do think WrestleMania will be very good, though. Anyways, that's all I got for tonight. Thank you all for watching. I know some of you are loving WWE right now and you can't get enough of it, but it's been a disappointment to me. Thank you all for watching. We'll see how things go for WrestleMania weekend. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.